Hi, I'm James Mitchell, co-founder and CEO of BuildX Studio, a B Corporation based in Nairobi, Kenya. Buildings and construction are responsible for 39% of global carbon emissions. This comes from the materials, methods, and energy used to create and run buildings. We need to eliminate these emissions by 2050 in order to have any chance of mitigating the effects of climate change. At the moment in Kenya, particularly urban areas like Nairobi, we're building the majority of our structures using high carbon materials like concrete and steel. Buildings also have a profound impact on our health and well-being. The air that we breathe, the water that we consume, as well as our psychological health from the time that we spend inside buildings, has a profound impact on public health. Yet in spite of this, the world is expected to build 230 billion square meters in new construction by 2060. That's like adding the equivalent of New York City to the planet every single week for the next 40 years. Why? Largely due to population growth, particularly in Africa, where more than half of our growth this century will occur and where the urban population is expected to triple. The problem here is at its most urgent. Our solution at BuildX is to create what we define as radically better buildings. We design, build, and develop green buildings which meet market demand and have the potential to change how others build in future. We leverage our in-house architecture, engineering, and construction capabilities towards this end. This building in Chicago was built in 1885. 10 stories tall, it was the world's first skyscraper. People were terrified to go into this building. It was too tall, it must fall down. Yet only 4 years later, the Eiffel Tower was built at a whopping 81 stories tall. Since then, the world has gone on to build and change radically and very, very quickly. We've seen the same type of rapid change happen during COVID-19, and we believe that the same change needs to occur now in the way that we build. Our model is based on developing our own real estate projects from pre-funding at a rapid fail stage where we quickly assess the project through a seed-funded stage where we're validating that project and ensuring that it's ready for market. And then a delivery phase where we're bringing on the main investment to deliver and then sell to an aligned off-taker who will buy that building development from us. With that off-taker, we also sign up to partnerships to measure our impact over time. We deliver a pilot project, we might deliver a second, a third, even a 20th project, but at some point our aim is to exit and enable others to scale, either through open sourcing, licensing, or incubating a new company. And the reason that we do this is that we believe the entire sector needs to change, not just how BuildX constructs buildings. All of our work is centered around the theory of change towards our vision of a radically better world. This means for us buildings that are net zero carbon, more equitably designed, and that enhance quality of life and well-being. Equitable design for us means buildings that are designed by and for all people, particularly women. We believe that a world and a city and an urban environment where buildings are designed with women in mind has a much better impact for everybody. Climate change mitigation is critical. By 2030, we need to see a 65% reduction in all new buildings worldwide, particularly in Kenya. And quality of life and well-being as well. We want to hit minimum targets of exceptional health quality for users of all of our buildings and encourage others to do the same by communicating the profound benefits of this approach. We follow an approach which is based on systems change. We understand that the change to green building needs to be incentivized. It can't just be to save the planet. We start by building awareness with the public and key stakeholders, and then create landmark buildings that have the large impact and scalability to foster desire and aspiration. An example of this is our XLT Tower project, which will be the first engineered timber net zero carbon skyscraper in Africa. We then provide visitors to these buildings with extra knowledge so that they really understand the benefits of green building. And we then look to mass markets such as housing or industrial space where we can produce at volume to action those same ideas. And then use that bulk and increasing growth of green buildings to reinforce people's changing perceptions. We have a proven track record of past work, building particularly in education, healthcare, and affordable housing. And we have an incredible team poised to make this change. Our team overall is over 75% women in leadership and over 60% women overall. Our team is over 80% Kenyan, representing the very people that we're designing for. Over the next 5 years, our forecasts are based on two projections: a more conservative projection that takes us to $9 million of revenue by 2025, and a more aggressive projection with some of our more ambitious landmark projects, which would take us to revenues of over 35 million a year by 2025. We're seeking $2 million in equity and 1 million in convertibles to finance growth, predominantly new hires and operating costs, as well as the equity required for project developments to get them to a debt funding stage, furthering our vision for a net zero carbon, more equitable and healthier future. The impact return on investment is over 20,000 building users served by 2030, directly reporting enhanced quality of life and well-being benefits. The first net zero carbon buildings constructed in Kenya, providing a roadmap for the change that we need to see from a climate perspective, and an increased share of voice of women in the building sector, where currently they represent less than 7% of architects and engineers. To finish, I want to share with you our big bet. We believe that the biggest opportunity to reduce the effects of climate change from buildings and construction is to substitute concrete and steel with mass timber. Mass timber is engineered timber that has a positive carbon impact, already involves women in the value chain, and has proven health and well-being benefits for users. Thank you, and I look forward to talking with you further.